I'm Jasmine Anderson. Embattled Long Island Congressman George Santos is due back in court today. He is set to be arraigned on the revised indictment accusing him of new charges that he stole from donors and lied to Congress. It comes as he faces a possible expulsion vote in Congress. Steve Langford takes a look at what Long Islanders think about Santos right now.
With renewed efforts by some Republicans to remove Representative George Santos from Congress, New York's 3rd congressional district appears to be largely done discussing the first-term GOP congressman. If there's any support left for the scandal-scarred Santos here in Port Washington on the eve of another appearance in federal court on more criminal charges, mum's the word here mostly.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have no comment on that.
Sorry, I gotta pick the drink.
I'm working right now.
I spoke to George Santos this morning.
Newsday Washington correspondent Laura Figueroa Hernandez reports Congressman Santos says he will continue to fight criminal charges against him, but will not attempt to convince his fellow members of Congress to keep him in office.
He said that, he wasn't going to beg anybody. He wasn't going to beg for votes. He said, he's entitled to his due process rights and that he hoped that the lawmakers would vote their conscience.
Fellow Long Island GOP Congressman Anthony D'Esposito has announced plans to revive an effort to expel George Santos.
Congressman D'Esposito originally filed a resolution to expel Santos back on October 11th, but the House didn't have a speaker.
If the bid to force Santos out of Congress moves forward, a vote in the House could happen as soon as next week or the week after.
They view Santos as a liability. They were all elected. A lot of them flipped Biden districts, and the last thing they need is Santos's baggage. So they're really adamant about getting him out of office.
Expelling George Santos from Congress would require the support of 2/3 of the members of the House. Steve Langford for NewsdayTV.
Read the latest developments on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the NewsdayTV video box. 2 Oceanside firefighters are recovering after they became trapped in a burning sheet metal recycling plant. Officials tell us the pair suffered smoke inhalation and other minor injuries yesterday here at Cousins Metal Industries. Fire marshals are investigating the matter and trying to figure out what sparked the flames. A Bronx man is facing charges in Riverhead. He's accused of blocking an ambulance with his truck and attacking it with a metal pipe. Hamlet Ramirez was arrested yesterday in South Jamesport. Police say he cut off the Riverhead volunteer ambulance with his dump truck, then got into a confrontation with the ambulance driver. The urgent manhunt continues for a mass shooter in Maine. New York law enforcement is also still on high alert. Authorities are looking for Army reservist Robert Card. Police say he killed 18 people and wounded 13 others at a bar and a bowling alley in Lewiston. Residents across several communities are now sheltering in place. No motive has been released. The NYPD is on high alert for the suspect, with the city about 5 hours from Maine. It's deployed 900 officers to sensitive locations. However, officials say the suspect has no known nexus to New York. Escalating tensions in the Middle East, the U.S. military conducted airstrikes on 2 sites in eastern Syria overnight. The Pentagon says that the strikes were associated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard following attacks on U.S. personnel in Syria and Iraq. Israel's military carried out another ground raid into the Gaza Strip today. It said that action was to prepare the battlefield ahead of a widely expected ground invasion. The Israel-Hamas war is now in its 21st day. Here's a look at home. Taking another step toward a casino bid, Las Vegas Sands paid $241 million to acquire a lease to control the Nassau Coliseum site. That's according to a new company filing. The price tag, including a $92 million quote, goodwill premium, more than the property's true value. In May, county lawmakers approved a 99-year lease agreement to allow Las Vegas Sands to build a casino if it wins a state gaming license. The brewery, who helped pioneer craft beer on the East End, is up for sale. Long Island Beer Company in Riverhead is on the market for $1.4 million. The brewery on Pulaski Street includes a tasting room and all the production equipment. It will remain open until a buyer is found. Sports now. Game 1 of the World Series is tonight. The Texas Rangers host the Arizona Diamondbacks. Former President George W. Bush will throw out the ceremonial first pitch. Stony Brook alum Travis Jankowski is ready to play in the Fall Classic. The former Seawolf is an outfielder for the Rangers. Good luck to him. On the ice now, the Islanders are back in the winning column after stopping a 3-game skid. Andrew Gross breaks it down from UBS Arena.
The Islanders snapped a 3-game losing streak with a 3-2 win over the Senators at UBS Arena on Thursday night. That gives them 7 points over their first 6 games of the season, a pace they will need to accelerate as the season goes on and if they want to be in the mix for a playoff race. From here, the Islanders go to Columbus for just their second road game on Saturday night before returning to UBS Arena to face the Red Wings on Monday night. The road does get more roadier, if that is a word, as the Islanders play 9 of their 14 games in November, including their first extended road trip of the season. For the Islanders to do better, there are a couple of areas in which they need to improve. First, they cannot keep going on giving up 8 power plays per game, as they did to the Senators. Luckily, the penalty kill and goalie Ilya Sorokin have both been good. They only allowed the Senators 1 power play goal, but 8 power play chances. For NewsdayTV, I'm Andrew Gross.
Thank you, Andrew. Read more about the Islanders on Newsday.com. Get more below the Newsday TV video box. Taylor Swift's reimagined 1989 is here.
Nice to meet you, where you been? I could show you incredible things.
You remember that song? Well, the singer released the album originally recorded and released in 2014 at midnight. It marks her 4th re-recorded offering after her former label sold the master recordings in 2019. Checking out your hyper-local Friday forecast. More possible record-breaking warmth ahead of showers on Sunday. Mostly cloudy today, highs around 74 degrees. Tonight we drop into the 60s. Tomorrow, another perfect summer-like day, mostly sunny with highs around 77 degrees. A look at your 7-day forecast coming up.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated.
LI Votes 2023, a new supervisor and affordable housing are 2 key issues in Southold. Macy Egeland and Tara Smith have the story you'll see only in Newsday.
Tara Smith is Newsday's Town of Southold reporter, and as we get closer to Election Day, we are taking a deep dive into the issues voters are really concerned with as they choose their next town officials. And Tara, there will be a big change in Southold this election year.
That's right. The longtime incumbent supervisor of 18 years is not seeking re-election. So no matter how the election shakes out this year, voters in Southold for the first time in 20 years will be picking a new town supervisor.
Big difference. So what will that new leadership have to tackle right out of the gate?
The new leadership will have to really take a look at Southold's identity. One thing you hear a lot is keep Southold, Southold. Mm-hmm. And when you delve into what that means, I think preservation of what Southold is, the rural character, the agriculture, everything people love about it is really at stake. There's an intense development pressure that the town is up against right now. So figuring out, residents are concerned about how that impacts their day-to-day life.
Affordable housing is a struggle out on the East End. Is that something residents are concerned with or talking about?
Last year, voters in Southold approved a new 0.5% transfer tax on real estate purchases in the area. That fund will be used to look at housing solutions. And this year, residents are looking to town officials to begin implementing that.
What are some of the other big issues you've been hearing for residents out on the North Fork there?
I think the environment is always top of mind for people living on the North Fork, especially being surrounded by so much farmland and also the water. Lots of people make their livings on the water and also like to recreate on the water. So I think preserving that while also coming up with ways to protect it in the face of climate change and issues like that will be really important for folks.
Some environmental initiatives.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
So much to consider. Read more about the issues in Southold and what matters in your town on Newsday.com. Click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. It was the most damaging storm in Long Island history. This weekend is the 11th anniversary of Superstorm Sandy. Sherry Einhorn takes a look back in our special series, Monster Storms on Long Island.
You can't imagine it. It's something you have to see, and the power of it.
Sandy, the storm that wasn't a hurricane, considered to be the most damaging in Long Island history.
We thought we were safe here, and we weren't.
Sandy was huge. The entire island, very rare, got clobbered from this storm.
The storm was more than 1,000 miles wide at one point.
It came towards Long Island, then made a left turn towards New Jersey. And the winds, the size of the storm, pushed a wall of water ahead of it. And it's the water, the surge, the ocean and sound water that caused the damage.
The damage was incomprehensible. Historic flooding and beach erosion like no one had witnessed before. For so many, the loss was simply too much to bear.
I've had enough. My nerves are shot. I can't do this anymore. I'm done.
13 Long Islanders died during the massive storm. Major roadways and airports were shut down. MTA bridges and tunnels were closed. The railroad was suspended. 90% of the island lost power. Entire neighborhoods were destroyed. Countless businesses underwater. Nearly $65 billion in damages.
It's hard to explain because no one's ever witnessed this kind of water before, not on this street.
The Seahorse Gift Shop here on the Nautical Mile in Freeport, one of countless businesses whose owners spent months drying out, cleaning up, and rebuilding. It is now a decade later, and you can still see homes that were damaged in that storm under renovation.
The water went over the car, over the minivan, and up the porch and into the house.
James Hodge is finally back in his Long Beach home. He says he can't believe how long it took to rebuild. It was a long, exhausting journey, and he's always worried about the next time.
I believe it's not if, but it's just when, and it's how prepared we are for the next one.
I'm Sherry Einhorn for Newsday TV.
For more on Sandy and the changes made on the island since then, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Feed Me is brought to you by PC Richard & Son.
A search for the best Korean food on the island took us to East Northport. Erica Marcus has today's Feed Me TV.
As we head into our 11th year, there are always constants on Newsday's list of top 100 restaurants. But every year brings not only new restaurants, but new categories. And 2023 is the year of the Korean restaurants.
Korean Grill in East Northport is one of the most exciting places to eat on Long Island right now. Where other Korean grills use gas, this one only uses live charcoal fire.
A lot of the places in Korea will have charcoal barbecue, and so that was just something natural for us. We didn't know if it was possible because a lot of people said, charcoal's impossible to get the permit. I said, well, if there's a will, there must be a way.
They use a lot of charcoal, and it took a lot of time, research, and money to find and install a ventilation system that the authorities would approve.
So you're going to teach me how to make a sam.
Get a piece of lettuce, put the meat in, piece of meat, scallion, and this is a soybean paste. Just like a wrap, like a pouch. Then you're gonna eat it in one bite.
Korean Grill lavishes as much attention on their vegetables as they do on the meat. They grow many of them on the restaurant's front lawn, right there on Jericho Turnpike. Peppers for kimchi, lettuce for sam wraps, and lots of perilla leaves.
Now this is the perilla leaf that you grow outside.
Outside.
And this is special, goes well with pork. Yeah. Oh, this is so good.
There's more to Korean grill than barbecue. Tofu stews, dumplings, bibimbap just for starters.
A lot of the locals, when they walk in, they don't know what to expect. And so we guide them. You know, usually when you go to a restaurant, all you get is like a plate full of food.
Yes.
That's it, right?
Yeah, it's easy to get your mind around.
Right, but here, all this panchan comes out and they're like, wow. And the meat comes out, the soup comes out, the steamed egg comes out. I'm like, this is so amazing.
Yummy. Everything looks so good. For more on Korean food on Long Island, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Watch Newsday TV on the big screen. Use the remote to activate Siri, Alexa, Roku, or the Google Assistant on your streaming device. Say Install Newsday. Newsday TV, covering Long Island like no one else can.
I'm Jasmine Anderson. Thank you so much for watching us on this Friday. Enjoy your weekend. We'll leave you with a look at your hyperlocal 7-day forecast.